so many problems. What do we used to say? This is the unwanted epilogue. I'm Jill.
I'm Ford.
I'm Patrick.
See, that was nice.
That was nice. We did it nice that time. Like we care. Like we give a shit. Like we give a shit.
Episode 11, and we watched Wing Commander.
It was good.
No.
I'm a fan. A+.
I love this movie. And you two were just like, not about the end of this movie.
It was a bad movie.
You didn't even like, it was...
It's such an enjoyable bad movie, though. It hits every point right. It's so much fun to watch. This was my favorite so far.
Yay.
But it's like a space battle movie. I mean, I'm gonna like it, you know? How bad could it be?
Patrick is making a face.
Yeah, Patrick looks like he
You
ate a
look
bug.
like you're gonna poop right now.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
This movie has giant cat people in it that live in farts. They live in a cloud of farts.
They do. It's true.
That's like the inside of their ship is just farts.
It's because they're so alien and weird.
That's their whole thing.
You're just looking for reasons
No,
to
I'm not.
dislike it.
Okay, well,
That is their whole characterization.
if
though.
I was looking for reasons, the movie gives you two right away. Their names are Freddie, Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard.
And
Okay.
SLC Punk.
Part of why, okay, I'm trying to enjoy this movie, right? Because I love this movie. I picked this movie. And these nerds are like talking about all kinds of stuff throughout my movie.
We are.
So rude.
You have to understand,
rude.
though, every talky part of this movie is so fucking boring. Every time they start talking, it's like,
The pilgrimage
the
has
pilgrims
to...
were religious, but
Okay.
we're racist against
Yes.
you, pilgrims.
Yes, it was boring. However,
We were paying attention, though.
okay, so I picked this movie
Not really.
knowing that this was like a video game and a TV show and like
A
all
whole
this,
franchise.
like a whole franchise. I did not know this because in 1999 I'm like 13 and I just want to see a movie with Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard in it.
Where he might
And
take
they
his
go
shirt
to
off.
space.
What if they kiss a little bit?
They might kiss a little bit.
They most likely did off-screen kiss a little
I think
bit.
they did. Yeah.
They
I think
were
it was on screen.
super
Maybe also on
affectionate
screen, too.
We just weren't paying attention.
It was very romantic.
Yeah.
It was warm. They loved
They
each
definitely
other.
touched butts at least one time.
But this is so... I was, I guess me and Patrick both big, like, Wing Commander video game fans. Like, I was real into the cartoon. I'm not, like, real into it, but, I watched the cartoon on TV. I remember that before the video games. But it's been, like, ages since I've seen this movie. And I remembered it being shitty. Like, me and my brother rented it because we liked Wing Commander when we were little and, like, hated it because it's boring and terrible. But it's the best movie we've seen. I mean, it was better than The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
You had to think about who was in it for a moment. You were like, with Tom Cruise. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
he was in
yeah.
that. Yeah. But
Tom Cruise.
No,
But yeah.
I will say this for this movie's credit. It's a bad movie, but it's a good bad movie.
It's kind of like...
Of the movies we watched, this may be the first actual good bad movie.
It's nowhere near as much of a masterpiece as David Lynch's Dune, but it's in the similar kind of vein.
I like David Lynch's Dune.
It's like bad in a lot of the same ways, and it's great in a lot of the same ways, and it was probably a hard movie to make, similarly, too.
Well, Ford brought up while we were watching it that a lot of the best parts of Star Wars are just stolen wholesale from other films. Like the shots and the way that they're set up.
Right, the shots even. Like the epic space battles are shot for shot stolen from like the Dam Busters movie and things like that, where it was like actual great cinematographers did the legwork for these guys or for George Lucas basically to rip off, and it's why the space battles look so awesome in the original Star Wars movie.
Whereas in this movie, they're not referencing anything except a shitty video game. Well, it's not a shitty video game, but
it
they're
looks,
referencing...
when the space battles look like looking over someone's shoulder of them playing one of the crappy like sit-in arcade space simulator games like at Dave & Buster's or whatever. That's what it looks like.
It's a bit too jarring between the cockpit view and the CGI spaceships flying around in asteroid fields and things like that.
They do the weird camera shake thing the whole time.
They wobble.
All the shots of the spaceship, they do a from just outside the cockpit looking into them as they're flying, and they're always wobbling around like they're flying an airplane or like they're sitting on water, like bobbing around.
Everyone has Parkinson's.
Yeah, everyone's always
The
bobbing.
ships have Parkinson's.
The
Space
ships do.
windy.
Space windy.
Yeah, there's lots of
Windy
space turbulence.
days
Wait,
out in space.
let's take two so that we don't offend people with Parkinson's. The ships have space wind.
It's windy, high wind advisory out in space.
It's
There's
like
a lot of solar
Parkinson's
wind.
syndrome. Like Michael J. Fox.
Oh my god. It really is like he directed it, though, every time they're in space.
Well, the guy holding the camera anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that they just thought that that would present the idea of, like, them being in motion. So that it looks like they're on those, like, coin-operated things that are outside of the grocery store. You sit on the rocket ship and it rocks up and down. Like,
so
that's
they
what it
have
looks
the
like.
whole Navy theme
Aesthetic.
going with the uniforms and
ship
like
interiors.
They look
fucking
very,
sailor
like,
talk.
Imperial Navy.
So
Yeah.
it was. I felt sick to my stomach watching those ships wobble. Like,
Well, and those people had to have just been vomiting when they got off the set.
ugh.
Because their little toy thing that they were in was just being violently shook the whole time they were filmed.
So, I would like to jump back and talk about the opening credits.
Oh,
scene.
sure. Yeah, we can go chronologically.
This has been my, I love a good opening credits scene when they, like, put some effort into that and do something weird with it. Like, Dune had that for sure, and this reminded me of that, where it was basically giving you, like, a lot of exposition of, like, the back, like, how we colonized.
But it wasn't really exposition. It was like recordings of people talking.
It was a JFK.
transmissions
It was a
and-
JFK speech,
Right,
on
at the
top
beginning.
of, but like showing how we like colonized like the solar system, and then went beyond that and like ran into these bad guys and realized we can't
Cat
live.
people
We can't
that
live
live in
peacefully
farts.
with them, so we're gonna have to fight them forever. Chris Roberts'
Eternal
name.
War.
Chris Roberts of Star, that fucking game. It's Vaporware. What's it called again?
Starman Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Oh my
Man.
gosh.
So, if you are a backer to Star Citizen, could you send us an email and tell us when the game is coming out?
Yeah.
Because I looked it up and I'm not sure. I can't figure out when the game is coming out. It seems like they have $400 billion, but there's no game, and I
No
can't
release
figure out when
date.
it's coming out. So
Dude,
just let me know.
Chris Roberts' name is in the credit 3 times. It's
Well,
like a
he's
movie.
writer, director, producer.
And it's a movie or it's a Chris
Actor.
Roberts film. It's a Chris Roberts film, though.
A Chris
They
Roberts
say that
film
at the beginning.
by Chris Roberts, produced by Chris Roberts,
Directed
written,
by Chris
directed,
Roberts.
All the Chris Roberts.
story by Chris Roberts.
And he's got a cameo in it.
I said that already.
Oh.
I said starring Chris Roberts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got that.
The theme music at the beginning is really good. This reminded me of the opening theme, or the opening credits to our first movie ever, throwback to Three Musketeers, because that had a similar kind
Yeah.
of that flying around the map sort of interesting thing going on. And then
This
they
was
cut.
slightly more incoherent than that.
Right, sure, but they're both cool. I like a good thing like that. There hasn't been any other noteworthy ones, that I can think of. But and then they cut out of the credits, and it's like these CGI asteroids that have pretty good visual effects.
They did look good.
And at this point in the movie, it's like, all right, I don't know, like I think we picked not a stinker, and then
And then there
And
was
then,
an
holy
artificial
shit.
intelligence that looked like a car battery.
Okay, so we are seeing the interior of this ship, and it's got this.
Shipyard.
Okay, but it's like Nintendo inside. Like if Nintendo did a line with Pottery Barn, this is what it would look like, and I would want all of it. So that
Nintendo with
is,
Pottery Barn.
they're in this shipyard, but it's very Nintendo. It's gray and like red and orange
Yeah,
and black.
bright
and,
red and gray.
Like,
Yeah.
I want that line in my bedroom. But okay, whatever. So they're just like fucking getting bombed all to hell.
And then the cat people do, like, they board the complex and they cut to a security camera of the people, like, shooting a rifle down the hall and then getting blasted away by these people in the worst looking rubber suits. Just the absolute
Catman.
worst, like, the cheapest, most bulky, stupid things they could find.
Question: were the cat people wearing fart helmets that kept that had farts in them so they could
You
breathe
know
in?
what? You guys forgot Chris Roberts, financial advisor on this film, was like, we actually don't have money
Okay, I'm asking seriously.
for the cat enemy suits.
Did they have suits when they
I
walked in?
thought the puppets, yeah.
Did they
No.
have helmets?
Like-
though?
No, it
No
was
came into the
shown.
human-
It was like the
Did it show them at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie?
Yes, it
It
was
showed
shown
them.
from a security camera angle that was
Okay.
like they were shrouded in shadow.
And fart gas.
and bark
Right, and fart gas. Like, there's, no way to tell if they had helmets on
Okay,
or not. Yeah.
fair enough. All right, Chris Roberts. Hiding your budgetary constraints, understandable.
Well, but it's not even like a cool scene, like
he was
in.
wearing a lot of hats.
It's not even like a cool scene in A New
he
Hope.
was wearing a lot of hats.
Right, a lot at once. At
Yes.
least 3.
He was hard at work on this
He
film.
looks like the type of guy that also wears like 4 shirts at once too. He just like keeps putting shirts on over shirts.
This security camera cut thing to me, where they showed the invasion of them busting in the door and shooting the people that were trying to defend the borders, like repel the borders.
They were defending the car battery.
Yeah. Well, no, repel the borders, just that first one.
Yeah.
That, like, so we come from the good visual effects and the good intro, and then 2 seconds later, not 2 seconds later, but like, you know, at the end of this first scene, we see the boarding happening, and it just looks so bad. You immediately go, oh, this is going to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, I think actually I laughed really hard when we first saw the cat people. Like, it just made me
there was
comedy.
a lot
But
of
there's not
real
even
giggles.
They don't even do like a good Star Wars, like people in the hallway trying to repel the borders. Even
no,
like
there's no tension to it.
They just do a quick cut to like a security camera, and the guy is basically like shooting a rifle from the hip for like 2 seconds, and then goes oh, and throws it up in the air, and you see like the menacing big suits come in out of the mist, and like that's when they go, oh, we're being boarded, and like really, you couldn't like why not do like 10 seconds of like a decent shot there?
The dumb part is where the admiral or whoever's in charge shoots the bulletproof glass that the car battery AI is behind.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you work there. Didn't you
The
know that the
Navcom.
gun wouldn't have worked?
He
The
did
Navcom
not
AI.
read his employee manual. He
No.
just signed and said he read it.
He did
Well,
not
and there's
try hard
no-
enough. And there's no... You
There's
pointed
no
out.
failsafe.
Right. There would be like a voice command where you could just say, self-destruct, go.
Well, and it
I'm
would be
the admiral.
It would be beyond that in case they had compromised the computers, where you could probably go literally pull a lever and it would release a bucket of thermite on top of the thing.
Right.
You know? Like,
There'd be no reason not to have some way of destroying it.
the
easily.
guys like in Vietnam, when they had to blow up their computers on the like spy aircraft that went down, would like stick flares in them and like explosives and literally like blow them up. You know, there was no like we'll just rely on the like switch to do it for us.
Yeah, it seems like they definitely would not just put it behind bulletproof glass.
Right, and so he tries to shoot his way through the bulletproof glass, and then when he realizes that isn't going to work, sends out like a fucking freaked out, like, they're going to get the Navcom. They're
Which
going to
they
know
get.
where
Coming
Earth
for the
is.
car battery.
We didn't plan on this at all.
I got the car battery. They plugged it into their car battery.
We're totally fucked.
They jumped their ship.
Yeah, so just like goofy as hell. Like, why not make a decent... He's not a stupid guy. Chris Roberts, like, why not make decent sci-fi stuff happen?
Well, and this is the question of this movie, I think, which you brought up while you're watching it, is that was it made by committee, or did he have complete creative control over the story and, like, the narrative thrust of it?
Yeah.
Or did he just come up with the story and then somebody else was like,
Kind of turn
look,
it over.
this is how it has to actually go, because this is a movie. You can't just make a movie about people in spaceships.
Well, I'm sure they
There has to
didn't...
be other shit to it.
I'm sure they didn't let him write the script.
No, of course not.
And I'm sure his creative control wasn't much.
I mean, the movie really does feel like it was directed by someone who has no fucking idea what they're doing. So it could have very well been direct. Like, the actors, everyone is awful.
Okay,
It's not
There are
wait,
good actors.
no.
No, you're right. It's not just the direction.
These dudes,
It's like more than that.
Freddie
but-
Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard. Okay, so I don't know dick about this game or any of this nonsense that you're talking about. What I do know
Okay, I want to hear what you
is
think.
what actors were dropping the panties back in the late 90s. And this included Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard was in Scream in 1996, and he was one of the killers, and he was a hot damn mess.
Spoilers?
Who cares? Oh, wait, this is almost 20 years old. I think we're
Okay.
good on spoilers. Spoiler alert, this shit is 20 years old almost.
If you ain't seen it...
Freddie Prinze Jr. and She's All That, also 1999.
Which is a great
So
film.
I'm sure this
movie
Chris
film
Roberts is
for
like,
theaters.
I have this badass game I made. I'm going to get these fucking dudes that are getting teenage panties wet, and I'm going to make this dope ass movie.
Well, and like we brought up to you, the games had a lot of like A-list, not A-list at the time, well, really
Well,
not A-list.
Mark
like-
Hamill is...
Mark Hamill, but we watched, I showed Jill a little clip from one of them earlier, and it's that white-haired guy that's in like some
How did you not do your fucking research?
Everything.
some
before
crime show.
You didn't
that's
do your
on-
research before you fucking came here?
He's like that's.
You didn't look up who this fucking guy was before you got on this podcast?
Anyway,
If you
there are a
saw
lot
him,
of
you
famous
know.
people that you
There are a
recognize. And so at this point, he had been making essentially interactive movie type games. Like there was a
What
flight
Chris
simulator
Roberts
component
figured
to
out
them. And the games were great. Like,
Before a lot of
the guy's
game
a
companies.
genius. Yeah.
Is that if you write $4 million on a check and hand it to a famous person, they will do a stupid part in your
They'll
dumb
be
game.
in your movie.
Yeah.
No,
Or
they did parts in his game, and then he was like, "I'll write you a $4 million check to be in my dumb shit ass movie too."
See, but
And they did it.
his number one could not have been Freddie Prinze Jr. and
No, that was
fucking
Hollywood.
Matthew Lillard.
That was very
Right.
Hollywood
That had to
type.
be the table he was sitting around going, "Here's what I want to do. I want to Mark
You have to
Hamill,
cast bankable
and I want to have
stars."
Dr. Grant," and they go,
Yeah.
"No, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard are
They
hot
were
right now."
money making back
Yeah.
then.
They are so hot.
They'll get people
right
like
now.
Jill to go see this
hot.
movie.
So hot.
So 13-year-old me did go see this movie in the theaters.
Yeah.
They did their job, okay?
But
No,
apparently
they
they
did not.
didn't. Yeah.
No.
They did as far as I was concerned. I continue to love this
Should we
movie.
do the budget guess?
Yes,
Okay,
let's do it.
all right, guess it. I know what it was. I'm not guessing.
Oh,
The
you know
budget
Patrick?
versus profit. I don't know what it was. I'm gonna guess $40 million for the budget, and for profit, or like how much it actually made, $5 million.
Oh wow! All right,
That's painful.
All right. I'm gonna go up higher because I
Okay.
think this, despite looking like shit, was probably an expensive movie. to make.
Tubes.
I'm gonna say $65 million budget.
65.
Wow.
Yowza.
Well, what was Lost in Space was like 80 or 90, right?
Yeah, but that's like.
I mean,
They spent a lot more money
this
on that.
had
movie.
A lot
A-listers in
more
it
money.
too, and that had a lot more effects.
I don't think he
I'm
paid.
so, all right,
them.
all right. I'll say 60. Give me 60.
Okay.
And I want to say it made. I want to like. Are you saying made or like netted?
I have
Patrick.
the gross.
Okay, the
Is
gross.
what I have.
So Patrick gets 5 as the gross.
Yes.
This doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It had to gross like 35. If it's 60, I'd say it grossed half of what.
I may have lowballed it, but I don't think by much.
Okay. $30 million budget.
Whoa.
Wow.
It grossed 11 million. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say 11 million, almost 600,000. I can't because it keeps making me laugh how little money this made.
Wait, say it all. Go.
11 million.
Take a deep breath.
$11,576,087.
Wow.
Damn.
They got it down to the dollar.
They did not make their money
They
back.
came after Chris Roberts down to the dollar.
Even with my 13-year-old money,
All right,
they
poor
did
guy.
not make it back.
I feel bad for that. I mean,
I do
do you
too.
feel bad for
Because
him?
I like this movie.
Because what he did after this was steal $200 million to make
a game that will never
demo.
come out. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so he was a producer on a lot of things. I did homework.
Okay.
Lucky number 11, Lord of War. Is Nicolas Cage in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that.
That was a good movie.
He was a
Good
producer
enough.
on The Punisher.
He paid money.
Which Punisher?
To be
Which
bought.
Punisher?
I think
Warzone?
the one with the
The newer
Thomas Jane.
Not
Thomas Jane.
not the fascinating, weird, bad one.
No, not my favorite movie ever made.
Yeah.
Punisher Warzone. If you're listening to this and you've never seen Punisher Warzone, go watch Punisher Warzone.
There's a How Did This Get Made on it that pretty much inspired this podcast. Just that one episode on Punisher Warzone. Because me and Patrick both listened to that and then watched Punisher Warzone and talked a bunch about it. And we're
Yeah.
like, weird, and had all these theories and stuff. I would say that movie and that episode of that podcast directly led to this podcast. I would say. Not like in any direct sense, but that was the seed.
When
I'd
you
say
just say
directly,
it
I would say that
directly,
directly did, but not in a direct sense. Y'all can fuck right off.
Okay, what
Okay,
else? What
fine.
else did he produce?
If you're not giving money to our Patreon,
I don't
then
know.
fuck
It
right
was
off.
Missing out.
It was mostly video game credits.
We
Yeah.
put up nudes on our
and
Patreon.
things related to Wing Commander.
Right.
Yeah.
But being like a producer on Lucky Number 11, that probably means he just gave money to it to have like a cut of it,
He had
and
money
like
to
and
give.
and gave them some of his like connections.
He wanted to be
Yes.
part of the Hollywood sphere, which is why he made this movie, and that's why he lived in. He may still live in LA, I think. But yeah, he was very interested in being part of that world and doing that whole thing. Being a producer, being a Hollywood guy. Like, he has kind of a Tommy Wiseau vibe a little bit. But he's more talented, because this movie does have some actual workmanship to it. Like, the design of
does.
it's not awful. The ships and things like that. It's not
Things
awful.
blow up.
You mean he's a Lovecraftian shapeshifter
Yes, that
that's
is what-
inhabiting a human form
Yeah.
currently?
Tommy Wiseau.
You know, something good as we hate on this terrible movie. So, Lost in Space came out the same year? Question mark? And
Where'd
they
you go?
both have one of these jump scenes where the ship is doing this jump and everyone is like frozen in time momentarily, and it looks so bad in Lost in Space. But in Wing Commander, we get a nice shot of Matthew Lillard and this chick he's trying to bang, and he like takes off his seatbelt because he's a badass. He's just gonna fucking float in the air. But it looks really good. It
And
does the like camera thing. What do you call that?
They do that. We talked about this when it happened. They do that stop? Remember in The Matrix when he like jumps up and then the camera spins around like 180 and then he like does the kick and they like rip that off in every movie after that. They aped it. But they do like a very primitive version of that in this movie. And they do it twice. And both times it's just like 2 seconds and it's very quick and very, after seeing the Matrix version of it, very cheap looking.
Okay, but it's one of the things that doesn't suck.
No, it was cool. Like, that's what I was saying, is like, it's, everyone like blew their fucking shit about it in the Matrix, but turns out, like, we saw it in some other movie too that we brought up when it happened. I forget. Some other movie that we saw recently. You brought it up, Pat.
I don't know.
The cut around the camera thing. They did it.
It was in, wasn't it in Three Musketeers too?
Yeah.
Or like some version of that?
They did a version of that in Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Oh god, is that like the common thread in some of the fucking movies we've watched?
That and the poop sewer water.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they did it in fucking Karate Dog too.
Poop sewer?
No,
Or
the
camera
camera.
around the thing.
Yeah.
It was a cheap version of it though. I don't know
Right,
how, but it was.
Like, in these movies were all way before The Matrix. Or at least a few years. And
Not Karate Dog.
No, that was after. But The
Karate Dog
Matrix
came
was
a
like
lot
known
after.
for like revolutionizing that kind of cinematography
But
and
no.
stuff, and it's like they just built on what these other Jags did. I don't know.
Well, they just used a bunch of really good special effects to good effect, basically.
Did we
Well
have a sewer scene in this movie at all? Because that would really tie us together if we had a good sewer.
Well,
get
The cat ships were full of farts.
No.
No, that's true. Whenever
Okay,
they
the
touched
answer
them,
to your question is
full
no.
of like green gas.
There was, okay, fine, cats in the farts, but we did not get a proper sewer.
When they're down in
but
the sewers.
the interior of the spaceship was
Sewer-esque.
Submarine-like.
sewer-esque,
Yeah.
submarine-like. Lots and lots of pipes in the spaceship.
It was a brighter version of Battlestar Galactica visuals at some parts. Like when they were in the mess hall, that reminded me of Battlestar.
Well, it
was
reminded
much
me of Starship
brighter.
Troopers also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was much brighter in the way it
Yes.
was lit, but the room itself
Yeah.
was a lot like Battlestar.
It was utilitarian. It's they went for the look opposite of Star Trek.
Right.
Yeah.
It all looks like
Star Trek, everything is nice and
mainframes
has, even the doors look good, and these are all like, there's pipes running around inside. For some reason, there are fucking pipes. We're like,
There's
is
a lot of
the
pipes.
ship
There
steam
are
powered? Is
pipes
there like
on the
full on
walls,
pipes everywhere?
Pipes on people's clothing.
There's-
pipes is a word.
there's the pipe that
It's
pipes
the
in
word
hot
that you
pockets from the kitchen.
Pipes in hot pockets.
You
pipes
turn on the faucet
in
and hot pockets
airlocks,
come out.
Pipes on pipes on pipes.
It's just
So-
like you'd assume they'd be sending messages via like those bank like suction
We don't know that they weren't.
vacuum
Yeah,
canisters.
no, we don't-
We
didn't
have
see
no
them not do it,
confirmation
so we
just
don't
because
know.
we didn't see it.
So
So-
oh wait, you want to go?
No,
'Cause
there's-
I got a thing.
Okay, good. Do your thing first.
All right. Do you remember? Did I do my thing first?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are you ready for my thing?
Oh, fellas.
Do you remember at the beginning when they were like gonna jump through, or they were like looking at the wormhole, and they were talking about like it was gonna be a shortcut, but if they like cut it right, Otherwise, it was like too dangerous. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is telling Matthew Lillard like the Greek myth of the ladies of Scythias or whatever the shit, where like if they went too close to the rocks because of the song, they would like crash or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So they build and this is early on in the movie. This is like the first big scene with him. You think he's gonna be like some big bringing up like anecdotes from literature and Greek myths and things. This is just like a one-off, very strange sort of. He sort of comforts him with the story of this.
Yeah, that's a character thing that they never
go back to. Yeah,
never,
they never ever go back
never
to.
has
That.
Freddie
a literature
Prinze
reference.
Jr. is the character. He frowns, he scowls, he thinks hard, he reacts.
He makes this face a
He
lot.
makes Keanu Reeves faces.
He does.
Yeah, that's a Keanu Reeves
And
face.
this is what he
goes,
does.
"What?"
The mouth open.
Huh?
Like
Whoa.
a little bit of drool starting to come out on one
Look,
side
I
of your
can't
mouth.
explain it. I cannot tell you why this was hot.
You were just into Freddie Prinze.
Just was.
Look, I
Isn't
understand.
it PRINZE?
Yes, it is. Mr.
Right.
Prinze
I'm glad I wrote that down.
Jr.
And it's FREDDIE.
Yeah, y'all.
His name
What a nerd.
is Lieutenant Blair.
Did we
First
ever
of all.
learn his first name?
What was your thing? That you were
Lieutenant
gonna
Tony
say
Blair.
Before
Okay.
I said my thing.
So we never got to the plot of the movie, really.
Ugh.
After the aliens stole the car battery AI and got the location to Earth.
Okay, do the thing. Just say it.
Really, the only relevant things we need to talk about.
Well, the plot is they're trying to stop them before
They're
they
trying
get
to
Earth.
stop the Kilrathi from getting
Yeah,
to Earth.
yeah.
So we need to talk about when Lieutenant Matthew Maniac Lillard nearly murdered his girlfriend.
Marshall.
And
Oh,
then
Jesus.
he actually murdered his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So first he almost murders her, where in any other universe, both of them would have just been shot in the fucking head on the deck where they came back.
They were
They don't
racing-
even-
They were doing stunts with their planes.
They were doing rad
Turning
stunts. They were
each
doing,
other
they were
on.
doing
Landing.
360 ollies off of a rail and just fucking grinding in space.
As they fly into the hangar.
For
and
the
people have to
purposes
dive out of the way.
of arousal.
It's
They
not
almost
even...
murder half the deck crew doing these rad stunts when they land their
Look,
planes. Their
it's
It's not
space
even like the
planes.
fucking flyby in Top Gun where he like buzzes the tower and they like give him a stern talking to, where that wasn't even like really a
No.
dangerous maneuver. Like these
This is a
people
mess.
The only
slide
person he
into
put in
the
danger was
hangar.
himself.
Okay.
in that
Yeah.
movie.
You two
In
are
this movie-
judging people who live their lives out in space, and maybe this is what it takes to get them off these days. Like, you don't know anything about that life.
No,
They're
I
a
don't.
loose cannon. Turn in your gun
They
and badge.
are loose
No,
cannons.
really. Okay, there's a scene where after he fucks up and gets his girlfriend killed later in the movie.
By doing the same thing.
By doing the exact... They do rad stunts. He does a 360 ollie kickflip off of a rail.
and she tries
dies.
to show him up and she dies.
She dies.
Yeah.
And as they're coming back in, he lands and her ship gets shoved off the deck into
But-
the scrap heap
By a front end loader.
by a front end loader. And the wing commander comes up and goes, "Give me your badge and your gun right now."
No, she says, "Give me your gun"
I
to the
know.
other guy so that she can point it at Matthew Lillard.
No, she takes Matthew Lillard's gun.
No, he didn't have a gun. She got it
Yeah,
from the other
he-
guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
She says, "Give me your gun."
That
to
would have
the
been a
other guy,
lot fun.
points it at
That would have
Matthew
been a
Lillard.
lot more like
Weird.
Naked
Yeah.
Gun airplane style
points it at him.
comedy. Give me your badge and your gun.
With this thing.
So Patrick brought up at some point that Matthew Lillard at this point was either make this movie or SLC Punk 2.
No, that was you that said that.
And that's just 2 hours of Bam Margera eating ham. You
know
said
what?
that.
I'm
You
sorry,
I
Bam
didn't say
Margera.
that. You said
No,
that.
you just said it right just now.
You said that SLC Punk 2 is 2 hours of Bam Margera eating ham.
I never said that.
Yeah.
I did not
You
say
did
that.
say that.
Bam Margera, if you're listening, I would never call you fat.
We love you, Bam Margera.
I
We are
saw you
fans.
on
Please
that
get better.
rehab show,
Please
and you
get better.
do look
Stop.
a
We
little
are
thick AF.
fans.
Please get better.
We are fans.
You
We
look
wish
thick
you well.
AF, but you look good.
Yeah, and we like that you're
Okay,
roller
you
skating
guys
again.
are being ultimate haters with no consideration for what it
That's
was
what
like
you people do, right?
to be a young lady in 1999. You're not being considerate.
We are. This movie was bad though.
Okay.
No, it
I
was
wanna
not
hear,
good.
What did you come out in 1999 when you walked out of the
Yeah,
theater?
yeah, what'd you think?
What were your thoughts?
I
in
thought
your
it
mind?
was awesome because I love space.
Yeah.
And here were these two cutie patooties in space.
This was my favorite movie that we've seen, and like, if it was better than like Star Trek Insurrection.
Fuck, dude. I don't know about that, man.
You're pushing
Yeah.
it.
Even okay, I'll
pushing
give you
it
this.
forward.
First of all, in that movie, Worf shoots his purple space bazooka, so it has that going for it.
Dude, that is in the porn version.
No, that's the real movie. That also has Data going crazy, which is fan-fucking-tastic. So you can't even compare the two. All the TNG Star Trek movies, by the way, are the worst fucking shit. If you love Star Trek TNG, don't ever watch the
guys,
movies. Don't do it.
You are drifting. This was the whole fucking movie, okay? If anyone has been hanging in there with me through all of these episodes
Okay.
of this podcast, you're
This is
listening,
relevant.
You're like,
This is
poor,
relevant.
This poor
Hang
woman.
on. Star Trek is
she's
relevant.
trying so hard
Star Trek is relevant.
Wait, hear her out.
to
Shut up.
like
Okay.
exist here. So rude.
You're right. I'm
So
rude.
I'm
The
mansplaining
whole,
right now.
okay, we are like in this movie, right? And everyone's kind of hanging in there. And then at some point, these two dick licks were like, I am done with this movie. I don't even know what happened in the second half of this movie.
Yeah, we know exactly
They are
what
talking
happened.
about Star
Okay.
Wars. They are talking about fucking the
Listen,
beginning of the universe.
the
They
people-
are talking
the
about
cat
the
people-
end of humanity.
The cat people on the
I
fart
am
ships.
going through an existential crisis trying to watch this movie with you two.
The
I'm
fucking,
so upset.
Listen,
We know what happened with the people on the
The
fart
ki-
ship.
the cat
Yes,
people.
okay, we figured it out with the cat.
The cat people on the fart ships
Oh my god.
came through the jump point one at a time.
Yes.
and the multicultural menagerie of human
Yes.
people on the human ships blew them up.
Okay.
Because they had a big
Meanwhile, you two are like, humanity is coming to an end. We will never make contact
No, that's
with
not what we
any
said.
intelligent
Okay.
being.
But probably not.
I'm like sitting here just thinking about being dead. Humanity is over. I thought we were going to record the podcast and have a good time together. And my life is flashing before my eyes. Like, really? How did we get there from Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Let's be honest. The chances of running into giant cat
Don't-
people that live in a
do
fart
not
ship
start
are
down
not
that
great.
path.
They're
Yeah,
not
it's-
great.
it's very
Oh my
low.
god,
It's
I'm
very low.
still recovering.
We're more likely to run into
I'm
some sort
still
of
recovering.
machine race that doesn't have a form like we do. They're not going to be
We'll
humanoid.
probably accidentally kill each other before we
Right.
Oh my god.
And they'll probably just nuke
No.
us from orbit.
Nope. Okay. How did the movie end? What happened at the end of the movie? Did
The
it
movie
win?
ends what they tricked the Kilrathi into coming through the wormhole
Okay,
one by one
yes.
into
They
the
won.
waiting human fleet that just blew them up.
They won. It
The
was boring.
end.
Like, so I actually really liked this movie.
Freddie Prinze Jr. also got the wing commander at the end. He bagged that shit.
Yeah, he bagged that
At
shit.
the very end,
Even though we called her Grease Monkey when they first met,
Yeah,
it was
he did.
real meat.
he
cute.
also got in a dead guy's ship, and he was like, zoom. Shoo.
Okay, wait
I
a minute.
liked everything about this movie other than the script, the acting, the directing, the lighting,
we
the
were gonna make
cinematography.
burgers, except
Yeah, this movie had
Oh
everything
my
going
God.
for it except for everything.
This has been my favorite, like, I would put this on, I wouldn't though, but like, in theory, I would put this movie on in like the background when I had to like work or something, like.
I would
'cause
recommend it
I would recommend it.
as a cultural artifact, and like, if you played the games and you never saw the movie.
If you're into sci-fi in period, if you like Star
Sure.
Trek,
Yeah.
if you
Or
like any kind of sci-fi, this
if
movie is
you
worth
were
watching.
an early teen girl in
And you
1999
love Freddie Prinze Jr.
and you loved Freddie Prinze Jr. and or Matthew Lillard. Oh wait, interesting trivia about this movie.
Okay, give it to us.
So lots of people bought tickets for this thing and then walked out because it was one of 3 movies apparently that had a full trailer for the Phantom Menace.
Oh wow.
So people would get the tickets to come just for the trailer and then dip the fuck out. So
What were the other movies you know?
that 30 million's probably reaching. I don't know because I only did half of my homework.
That's amazing.
I was also making
I
roads.
did not know that.
Wait.
That this was one of the only movies
Wait.
that had the
You're
trailer.
welcome.
No, 30 million was the budget. You said it made 11 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it made 11.
The 11 million was he's reaching. That's amazing. That's pretty cool. Yeah. If
So,
nothing
yeah.
else, I've liked doing this podcast. It makes us learn more about movies.
Also, you know what?
Better terrible.
I enjoyed this movie as a teenage girl who enjoyed, like, I could take my friends who were super boy crazy with me to see this movie. Like, I wanted to go see Spaceships, really.
Yeah.
But they wanted to go see that,
Matthew Lillard.
like, the cutie boys, so I could get the girls to go with me.
Matthew Lillard has eternally bleached hair. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he thought that look was never going away.
That's the future for it.
Yeah.
The future of hair is bleach.
His girlfriend Rosie also had bleach blonde hair.
Yes.
So it was the look. They were all doing it.
Right, and she's a not a light-skinned lady.
Oh my god.
She is a beautiful English
Well, I'm just saying,
black a woman.
Matthew Lillard is practically like an Aryan man. Like,
He was
he's like very pale.
pale.
Like, yeah,
But they're
so
in space.
his bleached hair is a little different from her bleached hair, but yeah.
Alright, that was racist. To end this,
I mean, I'm just saying,
kidding,
it's
I'm just
sorry
kidding.
there. Like,
since we did our recommendations,
I did like this movie.
we should
love
go to the YouTube trailer
Oh
comments.
god.
Oh, you got this?
I
I'm
did
ready.
not look them up. Tell us about
Okay.
it.
I only see 2 on the screen.
There's only
over
2.
Oh no.
And I think they sum up the
Make
movie
one. Make one.
perfectly.
there. Yeah, right one.
I should write one. One is by Andrew L. Nope, definitely not watching that in
Oh,
all caps.
Bullshit. Bullshit, Andrew L.
And then
Bullshit.
Atticus X. I like this movie.
All right.
I think that says it all.
Yeah.
Right there.
No,
Those 2 comments
that's about
pretty
right.
much say it all.
Well, and the one half just says, nope, definitely not watching this in all caps, and the other half says, I like this movie.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's about the range of emotions that I
Just
went through.
watch this
It's not a good movie.
No,
It's
it's
a
not
really
good.
bad movie, in fact.
I would say it's worth watching as a movie that was made by somebody who thought they could make a movie, like Tommy Wiseau, but not on that level. Like, it's clearly better made. He clearly knows how to make a movie, but only like what it's supposed to look like.
He-
not how it's supposed to actually like.
He was
be
overconfident because of his success making these video games that are practically movies.
Right.
Basically.
Well, he thought because he directed some full motion videos that he could.
I think overconfident is the right word, though.
Yeah.
Like, because all the reason we pick, like, the reason I think we pick the movies we think is because the people making them thought they were making a decent movie.
Yeah.
And that's always interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like, they know they're not making Sharknado. They know they're not making whatever.
Right. It's not an intentionally bad movie.
Right.
They set out to make something that would entertain people and make money, and they failed fucking miserably.
On usually both fronts.
They
did.
Yeah, on usually every front. And I think this movie especially is just like a miscalculation from just about every
angle. Yeah.
Which is interesting in and of itself.
High-waisted pants with lots of buttons.
The AI computer is literally a car battery. I just wanted to bring that up again.
It is a car battery.
Like,
It's a car battery, and
Painted.
they literally,
Yeah.
the alien ship uses it to jump their ship. Like, they plug it into their ship so they can leave.
A lot
the
of that
parking lot.
submarine interior was giving me flashbacks
Did look
of
like a submarine.
our Poseidon
Oh,
adventure.
yeah.
It looked like the inside of an actual nautical ship.
Yeah.
Like, which was cool.
That,
Like I said, I
Yeah.
liked everything about this movie, other than
the cheese, the lettuce, the tomatoes.
The
we have everything we need to make burgers. Everything. Other than the cheese, the meat, the buns, the tomatoes, the onions. We need some charcoal. If you could get some plates, that'd be good.
Also the will to live.
Some
we need
long
ketchup.
matches or one of those.
Yeah.
We do have napkins.
We need lighter fluid. But we do have chairs for you to sit on.
A better movie than Lost in Space, which had a much bigger budget.
Yeah, I would say this is much more entertaining.
And the
I
effects
believe
are better
came out
in
the
this
same
movie.
year, and the effects
To-
are better.
CG
to the
is
most
better.
part, yeah. To the most
For
part.
sure. I would say the thing that's most jarring is when they switch quickly between cockpit view and full CG.
From the wobbles to like
Yeah, when it's just a bad green screen.
Something- yes.
Ford pointed out at one point it looked like Mystery Science Theater when they were in front of the green screen in the cockpit.
yeah.
They like pull up a very cheap looking like obvious like ship rig and then have him like bobbing in front of like a screen. Like it's just so stupid looking.
It looks like a guy
He looks
is
like a
underneath
puppet.
it
Like he
shaking
looks
it.
like a puppet. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe he's a puppet. Maybe Freddie Prinze
he
Jr.
is.
is just a puppet.
so I want to go ahead and give
Maybe
a
Kevin
shout out.
Spacey has had his hand up Freddie Prinze Jr.'s
Oh,
ass
God.
the entire time.
We're editing this
We
out.
made it all this
Without
we made
mentioning
it all
one sexual
of this
assault.
time without mentioning
Kevin
one of these people.
Spacey.
You know what? I will say this about this movie. No one in this film has
Right, anyway.
yet been named
Yet.
as a sexual predator.
All right.
So let's give it...
I take pride in that.
Yeah, that's...
You're welcome.
All of you in this movie can be really proud that you have not yet been outed.
Freddie Prinze Jr., Matthew Lillard.
Some other people. The
No,
French guy.
There were genuinely some famous actors in this. I'm not going to go look it up because I don't care.
We've come
but
too far.
There was some... Okay, the only other thing we didn't mention is that there are a lot of cultures represented in the human side of things. We have British people, we have Scottish people, we have
Yeah.
Russian people, we have Irish people, we have Scottish people, or maybe they were just doing bad Irish accents.
French.
French.
Oh, French.
Did I say Russian already?
Yeah,
we
they're,
have Russian.
they're pretty represented. You can at
Everyone
least mention them twice.
But not a lot of brown people. There's a black guy.
Matthew Lillard's girlfriend that has the bleach
There's
hair.
No,
a
but
black
there's
lady.
black people, but there's no Indian people and there's no Chinese people
No.
or Asian
No,
people.
not a lot
It's European white people
It's Anglo
and
people.
some African people. And that's it. Nobody else made it to space. And there's like a billion fucking Indian people and a billion Chinese. They would be in space.
before us.
They would for sure be in
They're
space.
gonna take over space.
Well, why don't you holler at Chris Roberts, who made an
They're gonna
appearance
take over
in the last
space.
5
I'm
seconds.
Eric Cartman
Oh my gosh.
in real life.
How many times
Do you realize that by
since
2020,
we've made this
America will be a
podcast-
minority in space?
podcast have I had to say I am not a part of this?
I'm not a part of
I
this.
do not share these views.
Look, if we're gonna have the edge,
Yeah, what's the point? Look,
I
we're
don't know
not
where I'm going with
sponsored.
this.
We're not sponsored
I
by
took
anybody
Chinese, I
yet,
took Mandarin.
except for Redbox, who is our exclusive sponsor. Not really.
and Republicans for a better tomorrow.
Oh no.
Making sure only white people are in space.
Oh no. That's not gonna work. Patrick's dying.
dead. All right, that's a good cut.
That's the end.
With that, yeah.
Fuck this.
Good night.
Fuck this whole dumb Earth.